there's a movie that everybody's raving about right now. Everybody knows Black Panther. One of the scenes in Black Panther is the main character, T'Challa, is getting ready to be crowned king. But in order to be crowned king, he has to go through ritual combat against any challenger that comes from the other tribes that all make up Wakanda. And so, in this process, after going through all of the tribes that lives in the mainland, no challenger was presented. And right before they crowned him, the outcast tribe of Wakanda, being the Jabari tribe, came down from the mountains. And then they challenged T'Challa. Now, in this challenge, there's only two outcomes to figure out a winner. Either you yield, which is way of surrender, or you die. These are the only two outcomes. And then I was reminded of war. There are two outcomes in war for the loser. Either you yield, or you surrender, or you die. Point blank, period. Now, I know y'all sitting there asking me, okay, Rev, Minister, where are you going with this? I'm glad you asked. I'm here to tell you every day that you are disobedient and you are sinning, you are at war with God.
Mama.
And there's only two choices, and which is going to bring me back to why I brought up Black Panther in the first place. When T'Challa got to the end of the challenge, he had M'Baku in a lock. And he said, M'Baku, yield, or I'm going to kill you. And when he said yield, he said, think about your people. They need you. And it's the same thing in the aspect with us. God has us in a chokehold, and a lot of us want to sit there and die instead of being obedient and surrendering to his will. Because our surrender and us yielding to God's will and being obedient is for our good and for the betterment of the people around us. Y'all don't get me.
Amen.
So what I'm going to talk about today is, and it's still on that topic of surrendering to God, but will you trust God by surrendering? Will you trust God? My thesis statement being, are you willing to trust God enough to surrender over yourself and your problems in order for him to teach you and direct you into victory?
Run that back.
Are you willing to trust God enough to surrender over yourself and your problems in order for him to teach and direct you into victory? And these words come from two particular verses that I'm going to touch on. The first one being Proverbs chapter 3. Y'all turn with me. Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3. We'll be starting at verse 5. Say amen when you get there. Amen. If you're not, say wait on me. All right. And it reads, reading from the New King James Version, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall, not will, not may, not possibly, he shall direct your paths. Now the first thing, now the word that I want to focus on right quick is trust. When you look up the word, the definition of trust, according to the concordance, it says to be bold, confident, secure, sure, and careless. And not careless like I'm a loose, oops, I lost something, or you're just being so careless with your stuff. No, being careless, which means carefree, because you understand who you are putting your trust in. And it says to feel this way in God with all your heart. Now, I don't know about y'all, but not only does your heart, from an anatomy standpoint, supply life because it supplies your blood and your oxygen to all of your body. So without your heart, in essence, you die. And it's the same thing in the spiritual aspect. Your heart, all of your wants, your desires, they come from the heart. So in the essence, without your heart, you have no identity, you have no personality, you have no spirit. So therefore, God wants all of your heart to trust, to be confident, to be sure of in Him. Now, a lot of us say, oh yeah, no, I trust in the Lord. But yet you are still trying to find answers to your problems with your own knowledge.
Amen.
You are still trying to figure out your money problem with your own knowledge. You are still trying to come to figure out how you're going to do things that you need to do for life and for living with your own knowledge.
Amen.
But yet you say you trust the Lord and you are surrendering your heart by trusting the Lord. Because once you surrender, you give up everything. All the rights that you have to yourself and to your country after you surrender to another person, it's not yours anymore. So how can you continue to say that you are surrendering your heart by trusting in Him if you are still trying to figure out your problems with your mind? And then it goes on to say, not only do you not need to lean to your own understanding, you need to acknowledge Him in all your ways. So in everything that you do, in all your ways means all, everything. Not a speck, not a wrinkle, nothing. Everything that you do, everything that is you, everything that you participate in, everything that you go forth to do in life, you need to acknowledge God through everything out. Therefore, not taking credit for what God is truly doing inside of you. But y'all ain't trying to hear me this morning. I said that everything that you do, if you completely trust in God and you surrender to Him, everything that you do, you are going to give credit to God and not to yourself. Because even though you may feel like you've done it, even though you may feel like you did it, who woke you up that day in order for you to go forth and complete that task? Amen. But we don't think about that when we're getting glory from other people. All we think about is, oh, I did that. I built that thing. I did that customer service. I made that person's day. Well, lo and behold, if God didn't wake you up that morning, you wouldn't have ever been able to do that. In other words, you wouldn't have even started to have a finish. But we don't see that. And this is the key. That in everything that we do, we acknowledge Him. And from there, He shall direct our paths. A lot of us are lost right now. I don't know if I'm just speaking to myself or a couple of people in this room, but everybody is somebody's, not somebody, but somebody's that is lost. And they need God to direct their path because they really don't know spiritually what God is calling them to do right now. I'm here to tell you, acknowledge Him.
Amen.
Give it all to Him. He's going to direct you. He's going to show you which way to go. He's going to show you what to do. But you have to trust Him enough to give Him all of your heart, acknowledge Him in everything that you do, and surrender your will to His will. Y'all look too quiet. Let me go ahead and go. So, y'all heard me to Matthew. Maybe this will make y'all feel a little better. Y'all quiet. I must be knocking on some people's doors this morning. Y'all turn me to Matthew, chapter 11. Chapter 11. Starting at verse 29. And it reads, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Before we get to the part that everybody wants to jump for joy about, and that's verse 30, let's focus on 29. In 29 it says, take my yoke upon you and learn from me. Let's stop right there. Learn from me. That means allowing Jesus to be your teacher. Allowing him to teach you the ways of him. Because last I checked, we are supposed to be modeling our life after Christ.
Amen.
And everybody wants to sit there and say that, Jesus, I give you I'm going to trade my burdens with you because your burdens are light. But a lot of us don't understand that when he told him, take my yoke, there's another part to it. You're not just taking his yoke. There's a learning aspect that has to go along with taking his yoke. But we get to the point where we're so ignorant and we're so full-headed, we're so prideful that we think we know everything, that there's nothing else that Jesus can teach us. I know ain't nobody going to admit it today, but I'm just going to continue to say it and put it out there to let y'all know. There are a lot of us that are too prideful, too stuck in our egos that we can't learn what Jesus is trying to teach us day in and day out.
Amen.
We just want to continue to go through the motions and not actually want to learn. And what he says, after he says, learn from me, he said, for I am gentle and lowly of heart. Now, I saw this lowly of heart, and I was like, lowly of heart? Click, type. What does that mean? Lowly in heart means humble. And humble means to be low. And the thing about it is, I'm going to admit it, sometimes it's hard to be humble.
Amen.
Sometimes you feel like you have to toot your own horn to make you feel better some days when it gets hard. But I'm here to tell you, those are the times when he needs you to remain humble the most.
Amen.
Your private times. Because you may be humble to people, but the thing about it is God sees your heart.
Amen.
And the people may not see your heart. You may sit there and say, oh, stop it. I'm just doing what I'm just doing what they asked me to do. Oh, you stop it. God bless me to do this. And then you walk behind closed doors and say, ha! I did that. I did that. Yeah. You saw they was praising me today, right? You saw how I got the glory today, right? Those are the times where he needs you to be humble the most.
Amen.
Those are the times where he needs you to be humble the most. Because in your private times when your true self comes out. That's when your true desires come out. That's when the true meanings of your heart that's painted on the walls, they come out when nobody is seeing. And I'm here to tell you, just because nobody living, in flesh, is seeing, God is seeing.
Amen. Amen.
And your private time is another time where you have to surrender.
Amen.
And in the process of surrendering is making yourself low. Because you lost. But in actuality, you won because you're surrendering to a God who has your best interest in heart.
Amen. Amen.
But see it again. Let us continue. And he says, after you do this, after you take my yoke and you learn from me, and you understand what it means to be gentle. That means come to people calmly. Love on people. Not being so rash. Not trying to give rah every time. And also being lowly in your heart. So being humble in your heart. Remember what I told y'all. The heart is what keeps you alive. The heart is your personality. The heart is everything that is encompassed of you. So for you to be completely humble within yourself, after all that, then you will find rest for your soul. And I don't know about y'all, but it's been a lot of uneasy nights. It's been a lot of uneasy nights.
Mm-hmm.
And I know life gets hard. And sometimes we need that rest for our souls. Because you have so many nights where you toss and you turn and life is just uneasy on you. But that's when you got to sit there and check and say, am I truly doing it how Christ wanted me to do it? Am I truly modeling my life after Christ? Because that's why it's so uneasy. That's why it's so troubling, because you forget that we are put here to model the example that was placed before us. So we have no excuse of why we are living the way we're living when God placed an example before us. And not to mention in his word, he talks, I'm here to teach you. Take my yoke. It's easy. My burdens are light. I understand your problems may weigh you down. I understand that your bills may come against you. You know, you made about half of them. But still, I understand that your problems may take you out. Your problems may make you doubt yourself. Your problems may stand in the way between, try to get in the mix of me and you. Your problems may think you that I have forgotten you, forsaken you, and not have your best interests at heart. Your problems may make you think that I don't love you. But indeed, the fact that you are still able to breathe and see your problems means that I'm still there. Amen. The fact that you are not dead, buried in your problems, means that I am still with you. The fact that you still can stare your problems in the face means that I have not left you. Now, here's the good part. Give them to me. I'm here to trade you. Problems. What are those? What are those for me? Here's my yoke. Give me yours. But we're too stubborn to surrender our problems.
Amen.
We'll sit there and say, God, I give my problems to you. And then right after we said that prayer, we walk around and say, God, how am I going to pay that bill?
Amen.
They about to cut my lights off tomorrow. Man. All right, if I take from this account and I don't pay this bill, But you just prayed a prayer saying, Lord, I give you my burdens. But yet you still worried about how are you going to surrender if you still holding on to it?
Amen. Amen.
How can you gain victory if you still holding on to it? God's trying to elevate y'all, but y'all continue to weigh yourself down with the problems that he told you to give to him. How can you be elevated if you're allowing the problems he told to give you to weigh you down?
Lightweight.
I just don't understand. And you sitting there like, Lord, I gave you my problems, I gave you my burdens, but you still worried about them. I'm here to tell you, once you give them over to him, he accepts them, and he's already working on your behalf, but he's not going to operate in your time frame.
Amen.
He's not going to operate in your time frame. He's going to operate in his own time frame. I'm here to tell you, God's time is the best time and his right on time. I'm going to say that again. God's time is the best time and his right on time. So never get to a point where you sit there and say, God, I gave you my problems. What's going on? Waiting on you. That's the you right. Just wait.
Amen.
Just wait. Because you said it. You gave them to me. Now watch me work.
Hey.
But this is the thing about it. We can't see him working. We continue to hold on what we said we supposedly gave to him. So I challenge y'all today, this day, before you leave these walls, trade your yoke. As a matter of fact, everybody, bow your heads. I want y'all to take a moment. Think about what's weighing you down. Think about what's taken away from you. Think about what's keeping you from being elevated. And I want you to give it over to God. And when I say give it over to God, I mean completely give it over to God. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. When it comes, watch God work. Watch him make a way. Watch him transform it. Watch him take it and ball it up and throw it away. And watch you feel so much lighter. And then the elevation can come. And then the new purpose can come. And then the newness can come in your life. You cannot be elevated. You cannot be showered with blessings when you continue to weigh yourself down. Y'all can open your eyes now. Y'all should feel 1,000 pounds lighter. You cannot continue to lie to yourself. Because that's who y'all lying to.
Amen.
Every time you say, Lord, I surrender all to thee, you're lying to yourself. Because you're not lying to God, because God knows. God knows. Because he sees his. This is nothing. Talk is cheap.
Hey,
Talk is cheap.
there it is.
Because you can say whatever you want to say. And it lies and falsehoods come out the mouth every day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person that can see through them sometimes is God.
Yeah.
But guess what? Because he sees through them, how many of y'all know y'all can't lie to God?
Amen.
And stop trying. Today, stop trying. If you surrender all, just surrender all. And watch him work.
Amen.
It's impossible to please God without faith.
Amen.
Have faith in God. Give him your burden. Give him your problems. Trust him.
Amen.
Be confident in the Creator who gives you breath day in and day out, who allows you to wake up day in and day out to go forth and do things. Because at the end of the day, when it all said and done and life has passed on, guess who you gotta see? And you gonna be accountable for them self-lies you told. So stop it.
Mm.
Today. Stop it. Father, we thank you for your word and for the gift that you gave us. Your son, who was the ultimate sacrifice and also the ultimate teacher, the ultimate mentor, the ultimate example. And so many times we sit there and we search through life. How do we live? How do we live? How do we live a life that's pleasing to you, Father, when you gave us the blueprint? You gave us the example. And you documented it. All in your word, Father. And so we just thank you for your word. We thank you for the blueprints. We may be ignorant to it some days, Father, but Father, I just pray that you anoint our heads with the wisdom and knowledge to open up the blueprint.
Yeah.
So that we can understand what it is that we truly need to do to minister to your people, to work in your people, to disciple your people that have turned away from you. Father, there are so many people that are losing hope, losing faith in you, Father, and it is up to us to bring them back and show them that you still love them. You're still working on their behalf. You're still reaching out for them. You still have your covering over them, Father. A lot of people feel like they have been forsaken, Father, and it is our job to let them know that you are still loving. You are still caring. You are still there. You're still all over the place. You're still watching. You're still waiting for a heart that is willing to surrender it all, to give you their all. And Father, today I just pray that we can, as a church body or as people that are watching the Facebook live feed today, that they take out the time to truly surrender all.
Yes.
Give you their heart. Give you their problems so that you can direct us into the path of victory. Because we understand that we already won.
Hey.
You already have our best interests at heart. You already fought the good fight. You already having the victory party waiting on us to join in. But yet we continue to allow the enemy to deter us away from what you had already put us in place to do. And Father, let us not lose sight of the victory, and let us not lose sight of you as we are traveling in this dark world, Father. Let us continue to be light, and let us continue to not let the darkness of this world shade our light. Because people need it. People are crying out for it. People are yearning to just hear about your love, because nobody has shown them love. And Father, I just pray that we continue to pass on that message of love. We love you. We thank you. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.